Certainly, Madam President. Trustee Fields. Here. Trustee Townsend. Here. Vice President Lee. Here. Trustee Goodrich, I am here. President Hawkins.
Here, we have 5 Board of Education members present and 2 who are absent. Next, that takes us to the Pledge of Allegiance. Can we all? We have 6 Board of Education members present and 1 absent. Thank you, Trustee Gaisley. Could we all rise for the reciting of the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, that takes us to the acceptance of the agenda. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Fields, I support.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our presentation for this evening, which is our budget hearing. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Zachary Ross to introduce this presentation.
Thank you, Madam President. We know that each year it's important for us to hold a budget hearing before the budget is presented to the board. And so this was posted in the newspaper. And at this time, I'm going to ask our CFO, Damian Butler, to come and as he is ready to present the initial findings and what he has to offer to the board. Thank you, Mr. Butler.
Good evening, Madam President, Madam Superintendent, Board Trustees. Our presentation is optimistic. It's, we're in a good place long term for the state. There's still some things. Excuse me. There's still some things that need to be decided, but for the most part, we are at a steady state for funding moving forward.
What are you looking at?
Okay, there we go. So there's next 2 slides are just the preliminary information of why we're here, what we have to do. We are complying with the Uniform Budget Act and state and regulatory laws to make sure that the budget is public and everyone has an opportunity, the community included has an opportunity to see it and offer input. So our budget parameters were just, these are more regulatory guidance. State Bulletin 1022 basically tells us how we create our new budget lines. We've been very fortunate in the district to receive various state and federal grants. And as those funds come in, we have to track them in a very specific way. And GASB, General Accepted Accounting Principles, and Bulletin 1022 dictate how we do that. So we're just following with the guidance that's set out in front of us. As Madam Superintendent mentioned, we posted the notice in the paper as required. We have to have a budget reviewed and in place by June 30th, going into the new fiscal year starting on July 1st. The expenditures are coming in, and we need to be flexible as things change, and we'll go through a few of those changes and things that are not already set in stone coming from the state. Again, it's a living document, and that's where our flexibility comes. The district has over 4,600 budget accounts, and we're going through and working through to make sure that the ones that we have are active and up to date. We're going to talk about the general fund, food service, and our debt retirement as we are going for closing out for this year, moving forward into 24-25 school year. A couple of the assumptions that we have building the budget is our foundation allowance will be increasing. We're not 100% sure what that looks like yet. There are 3 proposals coming from the governor, the House and the Senate. We'll go through those, excuse me, in the next few slides. SEEK is coming to an end at the end of next school year, so some of the professional development funding that we've had and we've gotten used to will be going away. But as we get closer to that date, the executive cabinet will get together and figure out new opportunities. We'll seek out new opportunities and see how we'll make up for that difference. LEAP is heading into year 4 or 5, and we're doing well with that to share literacy and different literacy campaigns throughout the district. IDEA, special education, is ongoing. We're constantly working to improve the services that we provide to our young scholars. Title 1, 2, 3, 4, those are continual, and we're working through those to make sure we're using those funds appropriately. So the proposed budget, the per pupil increase, the governor's proposal was $241 from the present $9,608. As of today, I don't know whose budget whose proposal has been accepted. So as they work at the higher levels to get that news out to us, as soon as we know, we will update it. And we'll revisit it in our first quarter budget update during the next school year. So that those 3 different proposals change the budget slightly for each of the for our per pupil amount. I didn't put the amount there because I don't want to get attached to a number, and it changes. And once the final number is voted on.
What's your proposal built on?
Our proposal is built on the current number of 9608. So I don't want to go say 241 and then we end up getting 217, or go 302 and it'd be low. So
What is that?
we're steady right where we are. So we expect to see a slight increase. But as of today, we are going off of the current per pupil amount of 9608.
So whatever is, one of these 3 proposals will be on top of the 9608.
Yes.
And
So-
then you amend it?
Yes. So, and we will discuss that amendment in early part of next school year. Probably October, November timeframe is when we'll bring that number back and see what changes have come once the budget is published. So this is our current, I'm sorry, this is next year, this is next school year's resolution with our increase in our, from last year's state aid from the 9150 to the 9608. And that's where our state revenue increases to $35 million. And then we'll continue to have the transfers and transactions for private schools and different support from the ISD and throughout the county. So that's what the $7.2 million in transfers covers. So we're looking at a slight increase from last year's budget, but on track with our with the increase from 9,100 to 9,600. So our expenditures will remain consistent. We have our services for students will remain the same. Title funds will remain the same. So that goes into what goes into the classroom and services for students across the district. Transportation, facilities, updates. We'll talk about debt service here shortly. The idea is to maintain not to move the fund balance up or down in any significant manner, just because we want to make sure as steady as we are getting closer to a drastic cut in funding. We don't know what those drastic cuts are. It's just the fiscal cliff is coming. We just can't say when we're gonna get it. Changes to funding are happening very quickly. The main one for us will be SEEP and LEAP. Those grants will be ending in the next 2 years. So we are doing our best to remain conservative in how we plan and spend. Food service is one area of our budget that we have a lot of opportunity. We have the local revenue is what we build and within the school, local retailers and taxes. State revenue and federal revenue come from various grants that we get for our students. All of our students still 100% free lunch. So those federal and state grants are keeping us afloat.
And they have not yet spent, you know, we can't keep their balance at this amount, but they have not spent their allocation. They were supposed to be doing some work in the kitchen area. And so they do have that plan still to do those updates and
Capital improvements are a big part of the food service budget. So that here are the expenditures for food service. So those, as Superintendent mentioned, we're bringing them down, and we're working with the food service director to make sure we're prioritizing where those improvements will be made. It's an ongoing process as they plan for equipment, replace equipment in one place, we have repairs in another. So it's a balance in that. And the food service director and I are working closely to make sure we get all these funds allotted and spent properly. So our debt fund, this is a touchy area. There's a lot going on, but we're still we are still paying off bond debt. The funds that we received from the state paid off the school loan repayment program. And it hit the various districts differently. But we are still moving forward to pay off our bonds, and the bonds don't mature until 2032. So we have a payment process going through. So our local revenue is still going towards paying down those debts. And we don't anticipate a significant drop in any of the revenues coming our way. So again, we're pretty steady with where we have been.
Sorry, if you could go back, the next one too, but you know, excess of expenditures under over revenue at 1.6 million, is that money that I assume this revenue is what we collect for taxpayers that we then put the bond with?
Yeah, so the bond payments are typically 4.6 million, and the 1.6 is what we have remaining.
That we are not collecting enough taxes.
No, so now that the school loan repayment has been paid, that problem is, we no longer have that problem.
Because when I see excessive expenditure over revenue, it's like revenue that we're paying an extra 1.6 million somewhere. Is that just stated backwards?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. My apologies. So we are, but we're not in the hole. We're not in the hole.
Thank you.
Now, I apologize for the oversight.
Okay, that's great. That's much better to have it.
I apologize.
So that's excess
I'm sorry.
revenue over expenditure.
Yes, yes,
And so
we are not in the hole.
And
We are not in the hole.
that revenue that is the state revenue, right?
No, this is all local revenue.
This is
all-
local.
that's
Oh,
all
so
local
we're
taxes.
able to carry over and use it to pay
Yes.
next year.
Yes.
Okay.
Add that to whatever, yeah, right, that's the balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great, thank you.
That mistake will be on the next slide as well. There's an oversight. So
And so
the
this
verbiage is back.
is backwards. So in this case, the 9 million is the state, is the taxpayer money plus the state money, or can you talk about what?
So this is all local taxes. There's no state funding.
no state
This-
funding
This
in
is,
this.
this is all local taxes. Local taxes and revenue.
Okay.
And local tax and the revenue come from, various, areas, services that we may get transfers in, but this is all, none of this is from the state. This is all.
So then
from
the
community.
state funding didn't pay this directly, they just paid the school bond loan fund debt that we've been accruing.
Yes.
Is that true? Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm crystal clear. Thank you.
So again, we're steady. We're in a good spot. We're not in any, no need to sound any alarms for our tax revenue and expenditures.
Great.
So our next steps are to to close out 23-24 with our budget. And we stayed pretty much on track where we started at the beginning of the year, which was good for us. We didn't have any major changes, any major moves. Now we also need to adopt the initial budget for 24-25, and any changes that'll be made once the governor's budget is finalized will be updated in the beginning of the school year. Again, October, November timeframe. What other questions might you have? So the student, so this, I understand the question is what is our student count based on?
Yeah, I mean, so, the numbers are calculated based on student count, projected student count. So what is the projected student count?
So the number I used was 3,740.
Okay.
And that was information I pulled from my school data
Okay,
based off of last year's numbers. School count date from February, I did not use those updated numbers. This is what's on my school data currently.
You said 3740?
Yes.
When, I know that we're anticipating the state funding coming in and covering a portion of that bond payment. What is the timing like on that? Is it gonna hit this year's summer taxes, or is it gonna be next year that taxpayers are?
We have a meeting with the Treasury next Monday, and we'll talk about the timing. Initially, they wanted everything to hit before June 30th, so it would be in this year.
So let me answer, if I can answer that from our perspective.
Sure.
They have paid off our portion.
Okay.
We don't deal with the tax part. And that's where I was, because they came and asked us that, and we're like, the tax portion that they deal with the town, with the
County treasurer.
county treasury. So people, when we talked to them, we said, hey, that's between the treasury and the county. And so someone was here just recently and they said, oh, maybe I was at Blooming Wise. And they said, well, maybe because we got our bill in February and you all got paid, they paid us off in April? Or when did they pay our bill? So they paid the bill, I believe, in April. So maybe because they paid us after you guys got your bill. And so then they maybe calculated after, so then you get another bill, I don't know. So we said, please, they paid off the school debt in April. So maybe they dealt with the township and their bill and are recalculating people's taxes through the municipality and treasury after. So maybe the timing, because I don't want people to think, okay, it's YCS and recalculating taxes. They paid off YCS's debt in April. And so what I understand is there was a bill in February and then there's going to be another bill. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's the timing between. I just want to make sure in case somebody's asking.
I think that's probably, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Because everyone, those tax bills are issued before we got the payment.
Yeah.
So I got the same question, which is why I'm carrying it here. And so, that's helpful to know, and it sounds like it'll hit next year's summer taxes, and we can go to, the county treasurer if we have want more details.
So I just, because when people told me their timing, I'm like, oh, that makes more sense to me. I was like, we weren't paid off then.
I think, I don't think that had been passed, like, it hadn't been signed by the government.
No, yeah. So when they told me the time they got their bill, it made more sense to me because I was like, well, we hadn't been paid off at that time. We hadn't gotten that zero.
So I have a question. So in regards to on the budget where it talks about the debt service, the 5.6 million, is that number based upon, that's not based upon what we used to pay? That's on general fund expenditures? Yes. So that 5.6 is based upon what we know the actual debt service to be for existing bonds, correct? Okay, so then now since we got paid for the Willow Run portion, correct, of the debt, then we don't have to borrow, we don't have to do any of that. The current taxes, tax base will cover that payment.
Yes,
Okay,
we do not anticipate a state aid note this year or borrowing anything outside of the bond.
So I guess just to continue on that, why is it so high then? I know that our operating debt also would have been paid off. So is that projection included? Because this
So-
seems like a lot of debt service.
So I combined the payments that we made this year.
Okay.
So, and that was, it may drop, but just based off of what we paid this year, that's how I determined the debt service. So that we would see the difference, but with all the more information to come, there will be changes, but this is a conservative outlook to make sure that we know we can cover upcoming things.
So you're not anticipating it to be that high though?
I think it'll stay steady. There'll be some change because of the payoffs and the pending payments that we have coming. But I wanted to stay conservative to make sure we're good to go. I don't want to go too low and we have an unforeseen bump or a change, an unknown change that I just wasn't anticipating. So I stayed, pretty steady to where we were.
Since we still have bonds and PFM hasn't changed yet what we owe. They haven't given us what our new numbers are. We meet with Treasury
Monday.
in PFM. So since they haven't given us our new, it's like having a mortgage and they say, oh, you paid off something. You've had a double mortgage, but they haven't given us a new rate yet. So we don't know what that is. And we still have outstanding bonds. Debt.
And maybe this is the same answer. I know negotiations are ongoing.
They're ongoing.
And that, so it sounds like we sort of anticipated flat revenue and we are anticipating higher staff costs, we hope, because we're going to be able to pay our staff more, with the negotiation. So is that calculated in, or did we sort of just keep everything flat?
That's calculated in due to the payoffs and
Okay.
there was some adjustments in, but as we go too far, we want to put ourselves out and in 2 years, we'll be laying people off, and that's not what we want to do.
Sure.
As well as we know the benefits are anticipated to be much higher.
So the additional salaries and benefits are built into this budget, even though we have the revenue flat.
Yes.
Thanks.
Screen is locked, so are there any other questions? I'll rely on you to tell me what slides you're on.
We also, just as a caveat, we do anticipate like for the amendments. I know there's always a lot left in this part, but hopefully this last two, the amendments are gonna be much greater because we know there's so many unanticipated, the negotiations, the governor's changes, and, we know there's also a lot of when he talks about the categoricals, we left them the same, but we know we're hearing there's gonna be changes in categoricals.
The SEEK grant, that covers Grizzly Camp? That's
Yes.
correct, okay. And that's not a renewable grant?
Well, he also is going to, right now it's not renewable, it's running out at the end, so right now we know we can count on it this next year, but he's going to DC to hear. We're hoping they're gonna say, yes, it's renewed, but so far we're hearing that it will not be renewed. Like, there's no funding for it. And the LEAP, we have one more year, correct?
Yes.
One more,
26, 27. Correct? I mean, 25, 26.
25.
yes.
Okay.
And so we're looking for how we might continue funding, if there's any other funds for that.
Okay.
If not, we'll just find out which pieces we can add. And remember, ESSERS is ending, so we've already found ways to figure out how to do that. We're not in a fiscal cliff like other people who did not forecast that out.
Yes, I'm on the food service fund. Hey. You were saying that they still having plans to upgrade the kitchen and stuff.
Mhm.
They're not in jeopardy of losing the money if they don't upgrade and everything, are they?
Well, we would have to, but that's why we have plans that have to keep upgrading. But what he said is that there's repair. So you plan on upgrading, but then you have a repair instead. Like you want to buy a new car, but instead the current car you have breaks down. So we have to actually repair, we had to repair, the freezer went out. So we had to buy a freezer. So we've had to do other things because we can't get the new thing because we had to do the emergency repair. So we've been spending it, but we have to do the other things instead. And so the bigger upgrades cost more money, and they're the ones that we want to spend the nice amounts of money at homes, and some of the high school has a new line that we want to do, and those are where the big amounts will be spent. But we've had for example, those freezers, some of the repairs that have been taking up the time of the new director who came in just this year. So we're gonna spend it. We just didn't want you to think, oh my gosh, they have all this money and there's no plan. Tiffany wrote a really nice plan and Chartwell's is working. It's gonna look really nice. It's just this year, we got a new director. He had to work on the audit. You all know he didn't know, he hadn't been through an audit. So Tiffany came, worked side by side with him on the audit, and then all of the repairs happened. And mostly because we were going through like some of the things with DTE, when it kicked off some of those freezers and some of the things, and we actually had to replace some of those pieces because the food ended up going bad when the freezers went out, when DTE had our buildings out, and we had to like get those things that aren't beautiful, like when we replaced the roofs, we couldn't do the nice plans.
This
It's a
money
lot.
isn't part of grant or anything.
No, you have food service money can only be used for kitchens, for redoing those things. You can't use it for anything else. You can put a little bit of in-kind money. It's like a certain percent. Like I can't remember all of the, you can probably.
Well, so part of the thing about food service is it has to go into the operations of something for food service. If we can't use it anywhere else throughout the district, just there. And the in-kind services come from support, basic management, the Chartwell fees come out of there. And the percentages they escape me as well.
I
but
know.
the
Usually know
management
every
fee,
line item. I
the-
can't this second.
we're looking at less than 10% for
Yeah.
those fees
And
overall.
that's it.
So the funds that food service generates go right back
I'm normally like,
food service. But the small repairs impact the larger renovation. But there is a spend plan in place. Paul Garrett and I work, closely together to get everything going and make sure we are hitting the mark.
Okay.
Um, with this current budget and all of the improvements we've made with audit, as far as going forward, we should be able to meet the deadlines and everything for the reporting times and stuff. Okay, that's great.
Systems and training are improving as we speak.
if you've already brought in, what's his name? You've already brought in, yeah, for the audit.
We are preparing for, to go through the 23-24 audit. We have our, again, we brought back our contractor to help us oversee, and he's an auditor, so he forces us to think and work as an auditor so that we're prepared for, creating and presenting information. Last year's, transition of our grants director is a year old, and, Ms. Barbara Boone is doing great things and putting systems in place. We have our team, a full long-term team in the business office. So our training, we just came back from Tyler Technologies training. We had the state and federal grants conference early this year. We have some accounts payable training coming up. So we're constantly moving forward to create better processes so that we can, one, get rid of that write-up of timeliness for last year's audit and oversight.
Thank you for asking, so I can put in that this is, you checked in again. I just want to know, like, yes, but this document this.
Other more questions? Thank you, Mr. Butler.
Thank you.
All right, next that takes us to public comments, and I don't see anyone here, but we can check just to be certain. Ms. Haynes? Thank you so much. And lastly, that takes us to the adjournment of our meeting, of our special meeting. It is 6:09 and we are adjourned. Yes, that's where I'm. The time is 6:30. I would like to call this Lee, is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by trustee Fields. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to achievements, awards, and recognition. And at this time, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you, Madam President. We're just happy today to have one of our younger buildings, our Perry Early Learning Center, represented by its wonderful principal, Brian Dickerson. He's going to come and he has a PowerPoint also to share, since some of our earliest folks aren't able to be here, our young scholars, but he's here with the points of pride. So I'd like to welcome Principal Dickerson to share his points of pride. Welcome, Principal Dickerson.
Thank you, thank you. We start with the videos.
Awesome video.
Yeah. Am I starting with the video? Yes. So, good evening. I am thrilled to share a special video that highlights the incredible teamwork, enthusiasm, and passion we witness every day at Perry. This video is a testament to the dedication and hard work of our team. This year has presented us with multiple challenges, but our staff has shown remarkable resilience and a willingness to pull together for the good of our Perry families and community. The video, crafted by Emily Barber and Megan Carr, two of our first grade teachers that graduated from University of Michigan, it captures various aspects of our school life and community connections.
Robotics team, pizza fundraisers, Valentine's Day, popsicles in the park, end of year barbecue. 2024, Martha Tang will present the first of the year. Your teachers are here. March is reading month. Flip night. Mystery reading. Reading night. Wait, so is that yours? Of course, I'm already showed up. Oh.
Of course you participate in special learning opportunities.
Letters, legislators, masters and literacy from Central Michigan. Masters in educational equity, justice, and social information. Wayne State Peace Scholars. Justice leaders collaborative. Wayne State Peace Scholars, air specialist. Time Stop Future Collaborative. Ohio Early Childhood Doctor. I'm still Catherine. Attachment and Trauma Network Conference.
One year.
2 years. 2 years, 3 years.
3 years.
5 years. 8 years. 9 years, 10 years. 13 years.
16 years.
17 years. 20 years. 21 years. 22 years. 23. 24. 25.
26.
27. 28. 29. 40. 42.
All right, so the slideshow, I'll go through it pretty quick because I know some of the students were kind of quiet on there. We couldn't really hear them. So, oh, I got a clicker. There's that. All right. So when I was in the office, the students talked about our daily affirmation. So this is in our morning announcements every single day. And this is something that we created this summer or last summer for our students. So what they were saying was, I am smart, I'm a leader too, I can do hard things and so can you. I am respectful when I work and play, now ready to learn, let's have a great day. So our students say that every day. We just want to give them that daily affirmation and encouragement to do their best every single day. So yes, they mentioned our 2 Teacher of the Year recipients and they're here tonight. So Miller was a LaFontaine finalist and received $5,000 for classroom supplies. And then Ms. Blevins was the YCS Teacher of the Year. That is definitely something to be proud of. Oh, you saw the young lady at the new Perry Playground. They love our space. It's really age appropriate now. They have rooms. Our nurse loves it too because it's less injuries. Everything's appropriate for it. It's amazing. So literacy events was mentioned. We have a ton of literacy events. So this is something that we're really proud of. One Book, One School is something that we brought on this year where every classroom read the same book. And then we had the author come in and they did an assembly with the students about the book that the classes read together. Reading night, flip night, ton of different things that we did for Literacy Month. Here's a couple pictures from reading night. This is the One Book, One School. So also for Reading Month, our teachers decorated their doors. So we really had fun with it. We really pumped up Reading Month and made it exciting for our students. So here's just 4 of our doors that were created. So Ernest was on stage and we talked about Gaston assemblies. So we did have the football players, Med's mindset. We had the mad scientists come in, animals at Perry, Earth Rangers. So we really want to provide students with a lot of experiences and, you know, a lot of new things that they can really explore, you know, enjoy at Perry. So here's the EMU football players. They've come to the building a few times this year. They really engage with the students and have a great time with them. So tenured staff, that was the part at the end. So Perry houses one of the largest student populations in the district with 379 students. We have one of the highest retention rates. Our teachers have 478 years of experience serving our YCS community. So, and the last one, I don't remember which student, but community outreach. We want to try to bring our community into our building and really have an enjoyable time at Perry. So we started the year with Popsicles in the Park, which is a new thing that we brought on this year. And this is kind of an opportunity to have popsicles, meet your teacher, really get comfortable with the building. So that was a great time. Reading night, Valentine's Day dance. Our robotics team did an awesome job. They won an award. I think they're there, right? Yeah. Miss Miller is one of the coaches on the robotics team as well. And then we're really proud of, our teachers. Not only do they, they work hard, from 7:30 to 3:30 in our buildings, but they also take time out of their own day to, enhance or really become lifelong learners. They want to continue their education. They want to keep building and growing for our students. So here's just a list of all the different either conferences or degrees that they're earning. They're really doing a lot. So there's our slideshow. So in summary, we're incredibly proud of our fantastic staff who's dedicated to staying at Perry and consistently improving their teaching, and it has propelled our students forward. They've created new and exciting opportunities that make learning vibrant and engaging. We are equally proud of our students for their academic accomplishments and active participation in our community events. We want to continue to provide new opportunities and more project-based learning for our students in the future. Thank you.
Excellent highlights and points of pride. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. Ms. Miller and Ms. Blevins, if you could please stand. I just wanted to take a minute to just highlight your commitment and dedication and years of service to Ypsilanti Community Schools. Used to be Ypsi Public, and we came together. Ms. Miller, remind me how many years? 22. So if my math is right, what is that, 64? 64 combined years of teaching excellence. That is outstanding, outstanding. Thank you for everything that you have done for the students in this district. Let's give them, you're on MLive today. Did you know that, Ms. Blevins?
Not 15, 20 minutes.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. And all the Perry educators, who else is here from Perry? Amazing work. Thank you all so, so much. We appreciate you, we commend you, and we celebrate you. Thank you. Dr. Zachary Ross, I'm going to turn it right back over to you for the recognition of the 2023-2024 Seal of Biliteracy recipients.
Thank you, Madam President. We lifted up and saw just some of the wonderful things that are happening at our early learning centers, and then it goes straight to our high schools because there are amazing things happening from our pre-K all the way up to our high schools with our Seal of Biliteracy recipients. So I'm going to ask for our EL team, our multilingual team, to come on up because they're going to help us to recognize our 23-24 Seal of Biliteracy recipients. This wonderful team has been doing an amazing job since the board approved the Seal of Biliteracy work. We know this is the only seal that has been recognized by the Michigan Department of Education. This is a true distinction. And so I really want to just shout out to this team who has kept this focus. And it's a real honor for these graduates. And so I just thank you for pushing these graduates to ensure that these scholars receive this recognition. It really highlights the board's focus on equity, the district's focus on equity, the focus on ensuring that we know that a lot of these scholars they don't come as empty vessels. They come with funds of knowledge, many of them from different home countries, but then it also ensures that our students who don't have this knowledge already, we leave out with multiple languages. And we know this is important for our scholars to leave out as global citizens. So let you come up and do what you were tasked to do. So thank you.
So, hi, I'm Liz Sermon, Marianne Yeager, and Celeste Green, and we are the EL team, multilingual team, and we work with these kids on their Seal of Biliteracy. So the students have completed either the test to show their proficiency in a language, or they have come with records from their home country showing that they studied in their native language in their home country, and sometimes multiple languages. So I have a list of 22 students who have received it already. There are a few more that have tested that I'm waiting for the results on still, and they can get that anytime during the summer. I have a few who may test a little bit later as well. So I'm going to read the names. We have Madina Abdul Basir, Turkish. This is her fourth language. English is her fourth language. Her brother Mohammed Abdul Basir, also Turkish, fourth language. Karen Avalos, Spanish. Jennifer Bejarano Cordova, Spanish. Maciel Elias Valle, Spanish. Gretel Valesca Gonzalez Cruz, Spanish. Omar Jimenez Perez, Spanish. Celia Jimenez Vidal, Spanish. Stephanie Junco Mendoza, Spanish. Angel Martinez, Spanish. Gracia Mazama, French, but again, this is her third language because she speaks others as well. Huy Nguyen, Vietnamese. Khalid Orebi, Arabic. Abdul Nasser Orebi, Arabic. Walti Pais Chunis, Spanish. Estrella Paz Orozco, Spanish. Joher Antonio Ramirez Cabrera, Spanish. Liz Daniela Rivas Rodriguez, Spanish. Mohammed Salam, Pashto. Corina Sanchez Leon, Spanish. Wilbur Tobar Barahona, Spanish. And Ronmel Alexander Varela Rodriguez, Spanish. So we congratulate all of them on the hard work that they have completed while here at Ypsi High School.
Well, we'd like to thank you, thank the teachers, and thank you, Dr. Lopez, for supporting the entire team. Congratulations to all of our scholars.
I just want to say thank you for making this possible for so many students. This year we have 254 new EL students in our district in addition to what we had, and there are more coming. And they want to be here with us, so we're pretty happy about it. So thank you for all the support.
Just another huge thanks to the team who just presented these 21 outstanding students on their Seal of Biliteracy. I just want to give them another round of applause before we move on to our next agenda item. Next, that takes us to the recognition of our 2023-2024 retirees of Ypsilanti Community Schools. Dr. Zachary Ross, I will turn it back over to you again.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to ask, Ms. McCarty to please come up. And it's just amazing as I look at the names of the persons. I want to again thank you as Ms. McCarty is coming up for your years of service. I think about each and every one of you and I hear your names. Throughout the district, I hear about how you are working on teams. I see the impact that you make. I walk by classes or go into classes. I see how much you've done for this district. And although it's just hard, I know some of you are teased so much about you leaving and you say, yep, it's time for me to go. But I am just grateful for your service and I know you all are going to do a great job presenting, but no, you know, we always will take you back. You don't have to go. Ms. McCarty.
Good evening, everyone. This is fun and sad.
Yes, it is
You know, it's like
bittersweet.
just don't want to let go. I don't want to let go.
No.
They probably want to let go. And then Julian's gonna join
No,
me
the
as well.
huggies.
And we have a video that we would like to play first, and then we will move forward to calling the name.
It's been a great ride, and we all know that sometimes rides have to come to an end, and so now I'm off to another adventure. Students that they are the artists and it's their creativity that we are here to promote and to grow.
Time, the 30 years that I've been here, and like I said, I'm back again, couldn't stay away.
I wish everyone could feel the same way I do, that I'm here doing what I love. See the rainbow in somebody's cloud.
So that awesome video was done by Raymond Alvarado, and if you had an opportunity to come to the Grizzly Awards, you would have viewed it there, but that's really a great video. And then the child that you saw singing in the background is what, I mean, heard singing in the background is one of our students. Beautiful student, second grade, I believe, and she was singing with her teacher. She did a great job. So the union's gonna come up with me and we're gonna just talk a little bit about each one of the teachers and read some blurbs from their principals and just call them up alphabetically. Okay? So, Ms. Jill Boatwright. So Ms. Boatwright was a former Willow Run teacher, and she always has a creative classroom, family founded on love. She has high expectations for herself and her students. And she's always willing to rise to the occasion. So thank you so much. And then we will be presenting, the union has their presentation, presently we'll be presenting this plaque to all of our retirees with their name engraved, but the shipping was delayed. So this is what it looks like, Jill. Okay, I promise. So, Ms. Cindy Bowers, I saw Ms. Bowers here.
You wanna do the board or no? The board, you want?
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry.
Now or when you're all doing it?
You wanna do it after everybody?
Yeah, you can do that.
Oh, we would do a line?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I didn't know how.
Stay with me, Jill. It's not here. Sorry. And Charlotte, and Pat, feel free to speak at any time, but Michael Bauer was skilled trades for, in the Aaron Facilities Department. Amazing worker, and he's greatly missed. Could call on him anytime to get things fixed, and it was done. Christina Buckley also was part of Mr. Rose's team. She's a custodian, worked here for many, many years. She's a little spitfire. I mean, she just is, she, get this done, get that done, get this done. You have to meet her to know what I'm talking about. And then we have Ms. So Miss Lucy has been serving students over the decades. She's always supported students. She's even been known to do the assignments herself so that she can better help the students do it as well. And she's most recently from Erickson Elementary, and they say that they're gonna miss your stories and your history lessons. And I find that to be true. Even when we did COVID, you had some amazing things on the video. So thank you, Ms. Extraordinaire. So Kathy has done everything from embracing our differences, having a wonderful art classroom. Many of you have been there and have had students in her classroom. We just can't say enough about her doing Grizzly Learning Camp, all of the art projects, everything servicing the WISE community as well as the greater YCS community for all these years. Thank you so much. Kara Ford is also a former part of Mr. Rose's team. She was the custodian at the middle school and has, I mean, and Mr. Rose can confirm this, if you needed it done, you could count on her to get that done. There was never any question about what was gonna be done, if it was extra, if it was out of the norm, she was gonna get that done and you could count on it. And then, we have Mr. Robert Heskett from ACE. Mr. Heskett has been serving the students online in the ABA program for so many years. In fact, we were talking just now before the board meeting, and I was saying, I'm gonna miss you because I would call on the phone and say, Heskett, is this done? Heskett, is that done? Did you get these in? You know, and it was comfortable and it felt good, but he has said that he needs to spend time with his 2-year-old grandchild,
Mhm.
uses camper. Just get some things done in life. So thank you, Mr.
Let me jump in. Thank
Oh,
you
yes, please.
for your support and, all kinds of things you know, you've done. You've always been supportive. I've called you after hours, I've called you for the weekend, I called you during the holiday, to help you with students, so I appreciate it. I'm going to definitely.
Mhm.
And next we have Shirley Lucas. She's a bus driver for the district. She was here before, she retired, she came back, and she's retired again. So I tried to convince her she did not want to do that, but it did not work out. And then we have Mr. Rose himself, Mr. Facility Director. You guys know he's done a few things around the district, right? Just a couple of things. He was a teacher, he was a principal, he's been our facilities director, he's taken on the sinking fund, playgrounds, oh yeah, and you know what? When we didn't have a transportation director, he did a split role for us. So I mean, this just been so many things. It's just, you could go on and on and on that Mr. Rose has done. I think he took some of his team members with him. I don't know, you guys. We'll have to. Next, we have Miss Anita Smith. So, how you doing, Miss Smith? Just last week, I was at Erickson, letting her know that she didn't really want to retire. I tried to talk to her through this, but she didn't agree with me. But I first met Miss Smith at Ford, and it was kind of during that fire time, and she was like, oh my God, all 25, 30 years of stuff, and it was quite emotional, excuse me, but she got through it. She helped other people get through it, and she's always there with a smile, always there for the children. Thank you, Ms.
I go back to little Rowan. Tyson, years ago. No, Tyson. Yeah, Tyson. I started out there, so she and I, throughout our years, we have touched base. She came back, left, came back, and we've always been. I appreciate you. I learned a lot.
Me too.
All right, thank you.
Me too.
And next we have Miss Sandy Todd. Sandy is known at her building for having a warm and welcoming environment, that she has really high levels of expectations for her students and really high support. Her principal said one of her most notable impacts is her positive impact on her colleagues as well. So Miss Sandy Todd, thank you so much. Larry Utley was the district plumber. He's not present tonight, but you know, can't do without a plumber. There's been so many times, you know, toilets have broken, stuff like that, all kinds of things. And we had Mr. Utley to come on in and do it, and he worked on our pools, various things. No crying, there's no crying in the board meeting. And next we have Miss Cynthia Barton. Miss Cynthia, I know that you've been here for a long time, and Charlotte's gonna jump in and say something as well, but her new principal, oh my gosh, Zach, said that he just can't say enough about what an outstanding special education teacher she has been, and the role model, and just the kindness and the wonderful service that she has provided the students in his 1 year, that he's just completely amazed by her. So Miss Cynthia, I'm gonna let Miss Charlotte take over from here.
Cynthia and I go back to Woolaron too. This is one of the best special education teachers. You are gonna come, I have this school over at home. I thank you and I appreciate it. You are so welcome.
So next we have, Miss Lisa Watkins. So Miss Lisa and I have my whole career here at YCS. I have love and just admiration for my fellow negotiator. Making sure that I do things right, not always agreeing with me, laying down the law. I'm gonna tell you, we've had some times, and then she's also a great cook. Shared so many delicious, like monstrous salads. If you guys ever get a chance to have one of her salads, they are delicious, among other things too.
every day.
All right, and she does cater. I'll throw that in for her. So you guys, if you need someone,
Number one.
here's the lady right here. So I mean, I absolutely lovely. I absolutely love her, and I'm gonna miss her. And I tried to convince her that she wanted to come back, but nobody, listen, nobody's listening to me, guys. Nobody. So thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I have to say something on behalf of Lisa. So Lisa and I go back to Willow Run too. But the other part of it is she was a union president for the support staff. So she and I work together. We traveled with the union, to Lansing numerous times. She would always say, don't forget me, I'm right with you. I said, okay, Lisa, I got you. We traveled out of state, so I'm going to miss you. Cause I am heading to Philadelphia. Yeah, I know, I'm trying to figure that one out. I am going to Philadelphia. I told me you still go. Think about it. So I will miss her, and I appreciate all that you have done, and you do for kids. Thank you. Thank you.
Have Miss Deborah Woods, an associate teacher from Perry. No, she's not present, but she also like went the extra mile because there's times an associate teacher can sub for a lead teacher, and multiple times she took on that role and she did it so well. I tried to, convince her too that she maybe wanted to be a lead teacher, but she was happy in her associate role. But I'm telling you, when she took over for a teacher, it was seamless. It was seamless. She did a great job. And as I'm watching everybody, I have sinking feeling in my stomach, but I'd also know that it's a good time for them too as well. So I thank you, all of you. I truly appreciate it. And the members of the Board of Education and the superintendent are going to come up.
Yeah, and before we do that, I just want to say, and Dr. Zachary Ross, if you want to say a few words, we don't want you to move. We're going to come to you. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You have left an indelible mark on the students in this community, on this community as a whole, and on this district. You will be missed. You have poured into these students in ways you will never know. Thank you for your years of dedication and service to Ypsilanti Community Schools. Please, let's give them another round of applause. You can. Well, listen. That's all right. That's all right. We are going to come in a line around to you and shake your hands, hug, whatever we need to do so that you all don't have to move. So we'll just go. Yep. What else we have? The presentation that a lot of I gotta make sure I make that appointment. Who makes that? I forgot. I gotta make an appointment.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Friday at 11.
Oh,
If that's
okay.
so weird.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
If you.
So I know he was doing some of the back, but we want to like a picture of them lined up. Probably. If the retirees would just, if
I don't think they'll listen.
uh-oh. If we can just, please, if we can. Retirees, one picture with the board members. By the time we get ourselves a picture.
Solomon Hartley for the board members, please. Either way,
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Or they're leaving.
A big thank you again to our retirees and a special thanks to their families, friends, supporters who came out to celebrate and acknowledge them as well. Thank you again. Her son.
Yes. Next, that takes us to our presentation, our section 98B Goal Progress Report. I will turn that over again to Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, Dr. Lopez will come to present to the board the required Section 98B Goal Progress Report that by law, the district must receive at this board meeting.
Today, I have the pleasure of doing the end of the year 98 feet goal project report that we normally do twice a year, in February and board meeting. So before I start, first of all, let me let you know, retirees, I think we can do about the great teachers that are in this district. And I'll start with the results. Today, we're going to see the moderate growth that we have gained as well as achievement and performance, and also in growth. Today, I'll highlight those, but that could be done without the great work that our teachers are doing and we serve our students. I also want, as I start the conversation today, I want you to, I know you heard Mary Ann speak to that this year we have 254 EL with level 1 students we have classroom. So we had a wonderful growth in those who are watching the decision, but we have a large number of young students. And with those young students, they will need support and as well as that. So what I highlight that is we're going to see some correlation to certain grades based on where. The other thing that I want to bring to your attention is 1/3 of our high school population are female. We're at that mark, but we're considering and teachers are evolving and growing. Using the Willie Loan funds to get after yes endorsement. That's helping us a great deal. So today in this report, one of the biggest pieces that we want to highlight is that we need to report once a year, right? And February and this will be a theme. Along with that, we have the goals. And our goals are there pretty much. Our goals are the same for mathematics, etc. Meaning that ELA for all students. K-11 will improve performance, leading ELA, fall, and spring measurement, NWA. We have the same goal in mathematics. What we have, what's different is we refer to the 23-24 ELA reading recording expectations. Those are identified buildings, things like this. And so we have those, and we have the same thing for the end of the year. And that shifts because it grows. As we move forward, we can see the same thing in mathematics. And the story today, of course, is about resilience. It's also a story about how we continue to strive toward academic achievement in this district. And I'm skipping over these things, but one takeaway today is that we've been on this trajectory, and our trajectory today is to show progress. And on this NWA journey, our overall student efficiency and growth as measured by NWA continues to improve. And so as you look at here, we see that we still have those transitions between 5th grade and 6th grade, 8th grade and 9th grade that we keep building. So we have put systems in play and continue to modify, including the high school. We spoke to the principal of looking at 9th grade transition academy for 9th graders, so that we can actually look at these pieces that will impact that. Overall, the takeaway too is our overall proficiency in work for all subgroups measured that we including the out students is increasing. Even though we have L1, the supports that we have from ELT has actually paid off with the investment on immersion, investment on the newcomer center, the investment on additional staffing, and to teach more languages, etc. is paid off, and we will see in our results today that this is moving in the right direction. And the third takeaway is the quality of instruction delivered by our instruction and teach staff, teachers, has been impactful over the last 4 academic years. And this is important to see because you're going to be seeing that one of the things that you'll notice in this particular slide is the whole perspective that for you'll see as we move forward that the middle school is showing significant growth in ELA and also in mathematics. And then we'll talk about more. Okay, so a couple things that I want you to take a look here when you look at the numbers. You'll see that this is considering the trajectory of spring NWEA. This is by averages reading achievement from 2021 to 2022 school year throughout 22-23 school year. And it shows modest improvement in reading achievement over the last year, even for grades level that did not show improvement, even in the case like grade 3, 4, and 9, and 10, the difference was less than the day-to-day measures. Variability, one thing that you see when you look at the data, when you're looking at 6th and 8th grade, within the period of 6th, 7th, and 8th, you see significant gain. These things have been done by the investment of the teachers working hard by using roadmaps, the ELA roadmaps, and those maps have been very instrumental. They embedded the roadmaps from other classrooms, and in essence, what we've done is made the rigor in the classrooms be amazing. When you walk into those classrooms, there's really student engaged and led, and so there's ambitious teaching performance assessment being delivered to our students. Reality, and that is when you walk into the middle school, you're seeing that, and it just paid off. It's been a journey, but we're getting there, and we're better every single day. The next, this one, on this page, you'll see the orange bars represent the fall reading world percentiles. The blue bars represent the mid-year, fall, and winter, and then the green represent the fall to spring. Okay? And so when you look at this, the reading growth, for example, in 11th grade students has moved into a highly effective range from 63.4 percentile. And so in essence, if you look at this slide, I want to highlight as it's important to pinpoint some achievements we see significant. This is the roadmap, and you'll notice that this year, later this year, the middle school implemented roadmaps. And this is by week. We've been get these reports about the year roadmap on the usability of the program. And so you can see that 100%, when you start seeing April and May, is because we're doing the PSAT, the assessments. And so in the assessment period, then on the year on itself, then the curriculum and the software subject. But on the other hand, you see that they jump into it, use it with fidelity, and they get better results. When you look at here, the schools that are not doing it is the schools that you notice. Well, you won't see it in this report, but the report that I've seen for our background is the schools that are suffering academically and ELA, because they're not teaching the curriculum like with the intentionality that they This really does a projection. Homes have been done a real turnaround, and the staff has worked really, really hard with putting those systems, and they're going out the park and moving in the right direction. You bring it out to the school level, the data, we're able to see the growth that's happening. Asperger's is doing an amazing job too in relationship to what they're doing with the English language learner and the sports mechanism to put in there, and we're seeing that. So on this particular page, that I want to highlight here, that this is the spring NWA data shows that the average math achievement improved from fall to spring for grades K to 8, but again remained relatively flat in 9, 10, and 11. But overall, it went up significantly in all the other grades. The next slide, this slide, the orange again is fall to fall, and the blue one is fall to winter, and the green is fall to spring. As a point of reference, the NWA conditional growth percentile is similar to the student's growth percentile, and so what all of the math growth was about the 40th percentile, and with the exception of 12th grade, it was just a small number of kids because our kids don't take that test, but we have some medical kids taking it, and so we kind of put out there the data. It's a little skewed, it's not the whole 12th grade class. But on the other hand, we always love grade because this will require NWA in this district. But even then, when you look at this, there's significant growth over time of our students. And again, here, we can see the middle school, when you look at grades uh, 6 and 8, they were almost hitting the 57 percentile. And so they run out of the park, and I'm going to show you why. So we're looking at this data, because something good from the state cohorts. So in here, I want an education cohort, because I think this is important. This piece of data indicates that we piloted Reveal Mathematics, which is a community-based mathematics program at the middle school. And in 6th grade, this is last year, the 33% was last year. And this year, it went up to 70%. There was a 37% growth in 6th grade, and then 48% was last year using the whole product, 54% was using the video, and it was 6%. And in 8th grade, it was 29, 63% increase in achievement, and 35% growth. So then look at the cohort. So from 33% the year before, and when the 6th graders hit 7th grade this year, they were already performing at 54% with this new program, and 48 to 63. Normally, when you implement a program of this magnitude, there's a flop from the problem, but we did not see it yet, and we see this increase. Doing the research, this video pilot increase-based program throughout the United States is having great success. One of the reasons for great success is embedded in this is Allic. Allic is a software like you think Imagine Learning, but it's a little steroids, and it really captures what the teacher is teaching is aligned to what the kids are doing, and whatever the student they get from the teacher, it reinforces. So think about, we talk about tier 1, the tier 2 and 3 is that Allic. And so we've seen significant increases. So this is data not made by me, but Associate Principal Harris shared this during one of the programs we've been looking over new math programs in statewide, and one of them was videos, and she brought this shared with the group and some of them. And so we wanted to show. So this math growth here means that the percentage of students whose fall and spring NWA math growth was greater than or equal to the national norm, 50%, and so it's significant. Overall, I want to also share just for grades 9 through 11, and for 9 through 11, you see that the large arrow falls, all the falls within the 40th percentile. The 9th grade in the yellow is the reading growth percentile, and that did hit it very well for 9th grade, but it hit it well in the 11th grade, where it went all the way to past the 60th percentile. So it's really, really good. The range for effective in the state of Michigan is the 40th percentile. So we are within that range. We need to do some work. So the dialogue today with the principal of living in 9th grade academy, the focus on academics, writing, reading, and doing more literacy kind of thing, is going to be a big change. We find that these assessments that will continue to evaluate and figure out where we at and continue to shift. Understanding that our reality is that our students shift every year. We've got to adjust to the students who are practice. Okay? And that's why I started the conversation about the EL population. We shift, the high school is shifting. And the principal and staff is continue to develop their skills. So this, I'm speaking special ed, but I was going to go to the last part here and give me a second. On this part. Last part here. Personal instruction, and then this. So the mode of instruction here, when you look at the mode of instruction, is that we have actually been doing very, very well with the reading achievement scores for instruction. And if you look at this report, the section report that's provided, the data, the numbers are there. So it's much easier for you to see. But when I'm looking at that report, for example, I'm going to be very clear for this NWA win. We were up in every score with the exception in reading, with the exception of 9th grade and 10th grade. So we were extremely high and met the targets for reading. Mathematics, every single content here, every single grade met their expectations.
Hmm.
For special ed students, very, very similar. For EL student population, the only grade that did poorly was in reading, and that was in ninth and 10th grade pretty much. And then the grades for African American students was also ninth and 10th grade. And that, I'm just trying to hit some of the dollar data that's here. The in-person, which is this data here, ninth grade to 10th grade are the ones that it was 202, and before was when it started it was 207 and 202, so it dropped significantly in ninth grade, and then from 207 to 202 again in 10th grade from 206 to 202, and so that drop was significant in person. When we look at distance learning, which is right here, and look at distance learning, then you see that the drop that we saw was in ELA was in 5th grade and 8th grade, and then the drop in mathematics was 20%. So we closed, the gaps that we had. At one point in time, we have a large number of students who are not up, and we actually put some significant work here. But it's been very intentional with the work that we've done to focus on that, and focus on those strategies. And so, concluding, as we reflect on the year-end growth or achievement data, here, both reading and math growth have become more uniform across the district. This indicates that even with, or perhaps at least partially because of the many brand new teachers, some EL math curriculum and pacing, et cetera, that we've done, so that we're working and going in the right direction with roadmaps and the things that we're doing. This effective teaching in terms of evidence that our teachers and administrators are really actively moving for education. Also, if I can say, the amount of work that the teachers are building a sense of belonging in the classroom. We walk into the classroom and know they're leveraging the district, the resources. It's impressive. I haven't been in a district where the schools leverage teachers, leverage you from the classroom, and to me, that's keeping a all from your students and understanding your reality and advocating for it. And then EL regularly, it is just like that about this. During the 24-25 school year, YC Middle School continued to offer Week 180 like they did this year, and this is a game changer with the number of students who are doing well in academic and reading. All schools are implementing the YCS and MTSS skills of support, and in all schools are teaching HMH units with the 5 pursuit, Golden Moms 5 pursuits, culture response. All schools continue to use the diverse libraries that we met, and the circulation there is amazing. And often, thanks to Geraldine and Beverly Watley for doing what they have done to move this forward. And all students in grade 3 to 8 will continue to use the roadmap with improved fidelity in the delivery rate at H19. And the last piece that happened, and it's just amazingness, our teachers have embraced artificial intelligence, the fidelity that we need in it. And then one of the things that we're doing, roadmaps is now contracted and working thank you, and so the roadmaps now appear in our thank you. It's a bad. So, and the last thing is right here, not that crazy, but we'll continue as we're moving forward, et cetera, is us really keeping what we're doing and making sure that we're doing transparency and urgency. But I also want to say thank you to all the teachers again, because the teachers with their students, setting goals, working together, and putting endless hours to make this happen. Because every innovation is easy, but this is keeping kids in the
Is it okay, Madam
Yes,
President?
go ahead.
I thank you so much for sharing those exciting data. I realize there's a structure in which you're required to provide these data. I just cannot resist my rail against the what averages don't tell us. And I know that you have your eye on that, and I was really struck. WISD Superintendent Norman brought up, especially with literacy in Washtenaw County, how very bimodal the distribution is. And I appreciate how very different that is than for our teachers in the classroom when you have, if you have, you know, nearly even splits of advanced and students who really need those tier 2 and tier 3 supports, and how the economies of scale can be challenging. So I appreciate all the time how incredible our teachers are, because I know that, you know, we are experiencing the same things that the rest of Washtenaw County and the state are experiencing in terms of like needing to provide those sorts of specialized interventions and specialized instruction to the students who we really want to bring up. And it's a very different thing than if you happen to have a classroom where the distribution is tightly clustered around that mean. We know that we don't have that. Nobody in Michigan has that. Yeah, and so I'm glad that you shared about things like in Reveal Mathematics, that cohort data is great. And if there's embedded tools that can provide that tier 2 and tier 3 support in a way that's sustainable for the classroom teachers, I think that's incredibly exciting. Thanks also for sharing what sounds like maybe some challenges with the adoption of roadmaps. I know a few of us got to hear about roadmaps at MASB prior to the district adopting it. One of the things that was cool at that presentation was hearing from educators at those early adopting districts, and hearing their enthusiasm was really promising, which made it exciting when roadmaps came here. I would love if in the context of the retreat or at some point there might be an opportunity to hear from our teachers about both the successes and the challenges with that roadmaps adoption and integration. And I should probably stop talking now, but thank you for all that you shared.
Other board questions or comments? Yes, trustee Gaisley.
Just a quick question. I would echo just the appreciation for, providing all this data. One of my questions, I loved the case study of Reveal Mathematics. I know that it said that it's still in a pilot. Is that pilot going to expand is question one. And then question two is that there was a mention on your last slide of an inquiry-based curriculum for K-5. Is that also Reveal? And can you talk about that?
So, this moment in time, we enter now for yes, and then we were able to identify the four program that it's and so before we narrowed down to one, and but I'm going to bring it to the board in July for you to look through it and reveal math, which one is there, well, to all together, and the teachers work endlessly and then social projects. I worked in curriculum selection, but never at level of magnitude.
So K-5 would also be Reveal? Is that what's being proposed? K-5 mathematics would also be with Reveal? Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Vice President Lee.
Heard you guys say that, you finding that sixth graders and ninth graders are going down in math, in English.
So the gap that we're having right now, such a large English language population, that data is starting to get in the mix, So in essence, what you're seeing is for that's one of the courses, a large number of students in middle school, a large number of students in high school. So some of that data is a little bit skewed in that way. We're breaking it down to the detail in the school, and once we break it down, it's not going out to the general ed student. It's the students that are different issues. But overall, general ed kids are
Yeah, you saw ninth grade, you saw some dips, so you see where the ninth grade academy is being formed as a result. So it was ninth grade.
But one thing that we wanted last year, so, yes, 5, 6, 8, 9, so that's why we did not have spoke. So from there, we did well on it. Those transitional years, and we decided to make those transitional years, and also, and that's where working with Principal High School, one of the things that they're looking at. We're meeting with school movement, one or two meetings a month here with leadership, right? And their team, they come in. And so in essence, that's helping great deal. It's great to see that's where we're working. Principal, they're sharing the work they're doing in school and the recommendations they're bringing right up. I just know it because the synergy is the principal project.
Other board questions?
So my question is, we're about to enter into the summer season. And usually we have students that will, reading levels, they won't have consistency over the summer with reading, doing math, those types of things. My question for you is during the school year, just because, I may talk to a lot of students like, where your homework at or something like that. Is this current curriculum that we have any emphasis on a certain amount of level of homework where you can have that repetition of doing certain things? I don't know if that is the case anymore.
And the other program that we're looking at also have those. But on the other hand, as you're hitting it right in the nail, this whole perspective, homework is really crucial. But how do we sustain that? And over the summer, one of the things that was really great is
Her question was about homework.
So sustainability, we've done a great job getting kids to attend summer schools, but visiting camp. And during the summer, they're doing activities, but they're embedding that. But that's good. But the homework is embedded into our systems, and that's why the kids, the students have laptops, Chromebooks, and that, so they can do those at home. And they've not had to take paper, but we have activities.
Okay, and then you had mentioned, I know in the previous meetings, you had mentioned that one of our major barriers is attendance. And so I'm sure some of that reflects in this data. What type of systems going forward are we going to use to kind of address that? I mean, because at some point, we can't continue to talk about attendance. There still needs to, we need to have something seriously in place that can address that.
So we always been setting mathematics or but one of the things that I'm introducing is goal setting competition. So the student have that conversation with about working with so if we make it a goal, we're seeing the achievement. That's maybe because then the accountability doesn't come from the student, pushing kids to persuade their parents to do. But since we provide free transportation, kids will come. The other thing is, why we want to, if we go to integrate base mathematics, because it really comes on age. Moving that with that magnet school, the things that are coming in now, they're going to engage the minds of students who want to come to school on a daily basis, and that's the initiative. When I talk to children, the things that they're doing, the excitement from the doing. That's going to be again, but kids want to come to school, not once. I mean, really, that's why we're doing the whole math, because it teaches the kids to do things, not what you should talk.
Right.
Okay, that's basically.
So, sorry,
So if I'm hearing you right, you're working on positive incentives for attendance, so not punitive measures, not tying attendance to grades in ways that we know go against grading for equity, but finding ways to further incentivize attendance to help drive the growth gains that we know correlate well with attendance.
First of all, person, and so we're ready to do it's the $1,000 that talk about sentence. So we want to use it to attend, kids are gonna earn, you know, you come to school, you're gonna be tickets, and you think you're gonna price. So those kind of things.
So maybe I'm missing something. I understand incentives for students, but how does that correlate to parents being accountable to getting students to school? Because I just don't recall growing up and having a choice. So it was like, you gonna go to school, but you ain't gonna be here, but you're gonna go to school. So I guess that's
Total
where
different time.
But I'm just
It's a
saying,
total
I know that would take time, but I'm just saying, when we're having these
Total different.
conversations, that's something we can talk more about in the retreat. But I mean,
Total-
think that's-
total different parents. Parents are different. They're not like my parents.
hear me out when I say this. It does not matter. Parents are parents. And I understand we have to shift with time, but that does not out what our standard is and how we're going to change that.
Mm-hmm. And we talked to those parents.
We've been looking at the data center, data, everything. Now what we're doing is sitting down, we sit down, and what we're identifying is bringing partners, which is one thing that we have the ISD and everybody was involved, the community, the village, these businesses, this organization here, and we were working hard for to support families. That went away after COVID. So now we're coming back and working with the supports and trying to build those supports so that we can provide points of relative services to those families. And it's not about being treated to certain families, but the concentric is knocking at the doors and figuring out what you need and how can we assist you. So
Yes.
there's food security,
Serve the
whatever
parent.
is the route. So then we wrap around with that family, and then we try to possibly nudge it into with checking it. So there's some meetings that we're gonna have with me here in St. Augustine. So I started some of those at the end of the year, but we got the data from Concentric. That's been very positive. So if you see patterns of improvement, so I agree with you. It's what do we do as a school? The kids are not here enough. So we want to make sure that we do a good job. And so in essence, by doing parent engagement and doing those kind of things at the local school, making it a priority, that pay attendance is our number one, that help us to do this, and move us in the right direction. There's no purpose, there's no, you know, the truancy from the state and all that court, that's not existing. But we need to come positive. I know conversation with Dr. Ross, but you don't need to really tell parent and get off. You would go there and be in this environment.
Yes.
And we find that by doing that, it improves. But it's one family at a time, and that we're working. So we're seeing reduction now because with Centric and all of us, I think it's paying off, and we'll see it like achievement. We're going to see more improvement. I think it's pretty. I agree with you.
Yeah, we have high expectation, but our high expectation is that we're gonna serve them. Cause we knock on the door and they all have a special need. So we love that we thank the board for doing the concentric, but every single report is unique. Every time we get in touch with them, there is a real story on why they're not here. It's not because they're not trying to get here. And even today, I told they said if they come after 11, did we tell them to go home? Nope. That they got here. And they had a story on why they got here at 11. And so we need to feed that child And we need to figure out, that they need to get a bus? Thank God Toyota is gonna get us 3 minivans, cause maybe we needed to call and get the minivan, cause maybe just like me, who was abused when I was a child, and it was, thank God I got to school. And so we need to get them here and have high expectations that they get here and that they get fed. And then we need to get their brain to turn on, because my brain didn't turn on till after late in high school because of all of the abuse. And then get them, you know, get everything else, because you read them concentric reports, there's a whole bunch of reasons. It's a lot of reasons. And you can read the reports. They're knocking on the doors. Concentric is working. It's not that that's why I say it's a different parent. My mom, they got to school and these parents have more trauma than our students.
So I think one of my concerns is, so if we're looking at having a full picture of what the issue is, then maybe we need data from Concentric. So
They
then
give
we
it to us
can,
every week, yeah.
right, so what I'm saying is, but for us to see that, so when we're looking at data like this, we see the whole picture.
That's true. Yeah, because
Yes, that's a good retreat.
that's true.
Right, that's a retreat
That's unfair to
conversation.
the board members.
Right,
It's unfair to you,
yeah,
trustee. That's unfair to you, trustee Townsend. It's true, because you're not seeing, and I think
Right.
if we scrape out like the names and stuff, then you
Right.
could, it's unfair to
Yeah,
you,
I
because
just
you're
need
not
to see the
seeing
number,
everything.
see what barriers, because then as a board,
You're
we
not
can
seeing.
say, when you come to us and say, okay, we need this additional support, then we have a bigger picture to provide making decisions on that additional support. So, thank you.
Yeah, they didn't want to get. We want to get moved, a lot of it moved, we found, but then the trauma you see, certain families, certain.
Right. Vice President Lee.
Thank you.
Thank you for, there was one project that the county did about homework with the programs that we have. Do they give out homework? I'm getting from parents and some kids that they don't even give out homework anymore. Only time they have additional work after school is with projects. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. So do they give home?
So depending on the grade level of the content, to, you know, homework should be part of something that has to be after school. Homework, to be very clear, is not introducing that new content, something that you already taught.
Supplement.
So that kind of, so homework also, because we use formative assessment, homework can be, you're gonna read this book, you know what I mean? And write about it, you know what I mean? So it's different than when we used to get a worksheet, you know what I mean? We're not like that anymore, because the kids have online, whatever, homework can be, go through an AI, come up with your first draft, come back to you, bring it tomorrow. So homework for us is very, very different by a different grade level, but I do know that it's doing that with fidelity in certain grades, and then there's some teachers who are not using, so that's something that we could bring to the conversation with the principal and look at it a little bit different, and say, hey, we want to see homework and see homework, because I think the homework builds into the formative assessment, so I think that we could move that.
Okay.
Just because we haven't put, you know, final, we can.
Right.
Okay. So something that also for the retreat. is very-
Trustee Fields.
And since we're talking about the retreat. And we're talking about that, we put items on that as discussion points, like what she's talking about, and items that we bring together.
Together an agenda or something like for these items, because I don't want to take up too much time talking about, you know, kind of being repetitive of what we're talking about. But then when we talk about it, we say, oh, that's an item for a retreat, you know what I mean? So without me trying to talk about it and feel like I'm just beating a dead horse to death, are we putting like,
We are.
you know, when you know what I'm saying? So, so one thing I would want, two things I think I would want to see then on the agenda and it's still on the same thing you're talking about. I heard you say something about truancy is really not an issue or it's not a thing or whatever. So if it's not, then we gotta address that still because it's still kind of what she was talking about as far as students not being there. And I know we're talking about, we still want to address them as well and still take care of them, but that's still an issue. You know what I mean? So we need to talk about that. We need to find out, okay, if it's not an issue, then how do we deal with that? If it's not a thing anymore, how are we dealing with that? You know what I mean? It's because it's an issue. And I know it. I know families who have that, but I heard they're not doing nothing else with that. That's a scary thing for me. But, so we can put that on the agenda.
That's not what we said, but thank you. I want to make sure, oh,
He did make a comment saying it's not a.
so I think we should make sure we understand. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so truancy, I really would like to see that. And then another thing that I'm hearing, and I talked about this a long time ago, and what I'm actually hearing from everybody at this board right now from the comments is childhood trauma is a thing. And I know that last year I talked about this, and I wanted to make it a resolution, to be honest. We talk about those things. I want it to be a resolution for YCS because what I'm even hearing even more today is we're talking about all these things that are happening to kids, and it's deeper than just the kids. It's the parents, and you're talking about when you go to their houses. So it's an issue. It's been a long time issue. But I'm thinking if we make it some sort of resolution, because you know when you have resolution, things happen faster because it's a thing, right? And we can talk about it all day. But if you put it in paper and you have it as a resolution, then you get more responses from different people who want to participate, who want to help, who want to contribute or whatever, thing like that. So I would like to see those two things as items when we have our retreat to talk about that.
Thank you. We'll add those to the agenda.
Their attendance. Statistic buses. Yeah. So I would say, why the question? Because of vigorous instruction, but on the other hand, I was thinking you is circles is being seen, heard, and because when you walk in here, so I would say that yes, it gets become. Is that maybe no matter what the element is, there are those buses and and so I just think the main, that's why I say that if we have equal basis.
We can do it at the retreat.
Yeah, so those are my two things. I'm just wanted to add something to that.
Yep, thank you, Trustee Fields. Any other board comments? I'll be very brief. Thank you, for the presentation, Dr. Lopez. I appreciate the demographic data and it being broken down by not only that, but also mode of instruction. That I found that very helpful. I also saw something that really stuck out to me, which is kind of this realignment mindset and our focus on high quality teaching practices. We know we have a long way to go. We know we've come a long way. And I appreciated in the report pulling out that we have to combat still low expectations, right? And we have to provide high expectations with high support. We have to set the bar. And it can't just be, we want you to achieve at this level. That has to be backed up by, this is what we're doing to make sure we get there. And it's all the things that, right, that we hear at this table and what we're talking about right now. We are probably seeing trauma in this community and probably many other communities like us across the country that are dealing with issues that we've never dealt with before, from parents on down to children. It is real, right? And so I know in education, we often want a magic bullet. There is no magic bullet, right? We have to make sure that we are intentional, we're thoughtful, we're strategic in how we support, how we build and cultivate relationships with young people and with families. And I just have to be honest, the school district is not the only place where this support has to come from. We have to think about how we leverage supports to support the whole family, because everyone is struggling in a lot of different ways. And I think we just have to be mindful about managing our expectations and our focus, because we're an institution where we're teaching kids a lot of different things, and it's an opportunity for them to learn. Also, though, we're a community that cares deeply about who our kids are. And we demonstrate that by how we show up, how we see our kids, how we value them, respect them, and pour into them. And so I just wanted to, and we do that through an equity lens. And I think this was how we got to where we are. I'm not suggesting by any means that we don't have a lot of work that we still need to do, but I think it's important to pause to see how far we've come. And that testament goes to our educators, it goes to our families, it goes to our administrators doing this work day in and day out to move the needle in incremental ways and the stories behind the numbers. And the last thing that I'm going to say is what I heard you say, Dr. Lopez, too, in connection to Trustee Townsend. You know, our students, we know attendance is an issue, but I also know too that what we're doing in our classrooms, it seems to me, is that we are maximizing, we're trying to maximize the time that we have with them, no matter when they show up. And it might not be big, giant, you know, gains that we see, but I remember last year this time, sitting here talking about the 6th and the 9th grade transitions and how we were seeing such a dip because those transitions are hard. And it's harder because many of those students who were transitioning in 6th grade hadn't been in a classroom in a couple of years because of the pandemic. And so you couple that. So I just am thinking about all the different things and kind of where we were and where we are. And just thinking about all the things that I know the district is thinking about and the things that we have in place to make sure that our outcomes and our learning is being addressed in real meaningful, intentional, thoughtful ways. So that's all I just wanted to kind of say. Yeah. Thank you. Ms. Hayes, well, I don't think so, unless somebody ran to the bathroom. Okay, they came in and left out. I don't know if I missed them. Next, that takes us to our consent agenda. Is there a motion at this time?
Six, minutes, and 2 personnel matters, unless stated 5, 4, new hires application.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Schindler. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by Trustee Townsend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our action item under student affairs, and that is the approval for our annual instructional material and our contract renewals. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, I move that the Board of Education approve the one Spanish for Kids quote for a purchase amount of $237,920. 2 American Reading Company 2024-25 quote for a purchase amount of $48,110. 3 McGraw-Hill Reveal Math quote for a purchase amount of $71,005.08. 4 Teacher Action Research quote for a purchase amount of $38,900. 5 FEV Tutor quote for the purchase amount of $100,000. 6 MEA Consulting Service Engaged School Improvement Plan Agreement quote for the purchase amount of $68,750. 7 Pediatric Therapy Associates LLC quote for $35,968. 8 Pediatric Therapy Associates LLC quote for $495,726. 9 Lambert Global Services Retainer for $5,000 per month.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Goodrich. Is there support for this motion?
Support Vice President Lee.
Thank you. Supported by Vice President Lee. Any discussion on this item?
Madam President?
Yes.
Could I just ask, I looked through these. Are there any new items here that administration would like to highlight and talk about?
These are all the renewals, so we didn't put any new items on it. All renewals. I'm sorry. 7. The Pediatric Therapy Associates.
Is that the summer versus the whole year?
Yes, summer is number 1 and the whole year is number 2.
8 is the. Yep,
7 is
ESY
the-
is the extended school year. And then the IDEA, is for the 2024-25. Is number 8. So ESY is extended school year. Oh, yeah. No, thank you for asking for clarity. Mhm. Yep. All right, so just to recap, a motion was made by trustee Goodrich, supported by Vice President Lee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to a resolution for our our Michigan High School Athletic Association 24-25. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President,
Madam President, this is trustee Gainsley. I move that the Board of Education approve the resolution for membership in the Michigan High School Athletic Association effective August 1, 2024 to July 31, 2025.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Gainsley. Is there support for this motion?
Support trustee Townsend.
Thank you. Supported by trustee Townsend. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, the motion was made by trustee Gainsley, supported by trustee Townsend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our action item under Human Resources, which is the International Alliance Group Host School Agreement. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, trustee Fields, move that the Board of Education approve the International Alliance Group Hosts School Agreement.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Fields. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by trustee Schindler. Any questions or discussion on this item? I know this was presented to us at our last board meeting. Any questions? Trustee Gainsley, do you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, I can kick off. I think that, I appreciated the presentation we received at the board meeting. I guess my main concern is the fact that it's the teacher's salary and then it's 20%. So, you know, I know that we've had this issue with when we're contracting, you know, contracting paraprofessionals, contracting other folks. The question that comes up that I think is really valid is, you know, if you paid me 20% more, then maybe you'd have more people. So I feel like that, it's pretty easy to ask that question of if you're paying this company 20% to recruit the educator, why can't you pay the educator 20% more? Now, I know that there are answers to that question and that those answers include, one, they have much less expensive health insurance. 2, they are limited to 5 years, so presumably they're not vested in the retirement and not going to be.
And they don't get the
Not getting the retirement benefits. So I guess I'd love to hear a little bit about what you know, what math we've done there, how we can communicate that to our staff. And also I know we've got some union folks in the room. I know that we mentioned that we talked to our unions about that, but I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, that we think this is a good solution for our district.
Yeah, and it's the last resort. So it's for those hard to fill, last resort, the same thing you just said. Last year, and the ML group is right there, because it's for those, you literally cannot get, what's that language that we're trying to get? The Arabic. There's not anybody that we get, there's not an Arabic.
Yep.
Charlotte, do you know an Arabic teacher? Okay. If I can find the Arabic, and that's she just told you, we have 254 people in the languages. We have how many Arabic people we trying to get? Now I'm a teacher, but we got teacher students. They've been giving me reports from the Jewish Family Services. See, I've been reading my reports. Mary, and she's trying to come up here. Yeah, 18. Okay. You are asked. Come on, Mary. Look, they the ones that tried to get the teachers. I told y'all I didn't put this agenda up here. Okay. Look, y'all bored. Good. The teachers have that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shirley.
This is the question I asked. Thank you.
So,
It wasn't me.
our history with this, you know, goes back.
Yes.
One of their teachers actually was just featured in the People magazine in Lawrencetown, Texas. They are providing teachers to pretty much almost every immersion program in the country. And so it's this issue of finding people, you want the best for your students, you know? And we see other districts cutting one language and not being able to sustain immersion. We're taking in kids from other districts for immersion. We know, like you were saying, that we will get Arabic speaking students, or we will get Dari or Pashto speaking students who need Arabic to read their holy book, right? And so that's why we're losing them to the charters, because they offer Arabic. And that's the only reason, really. And so when we look at our numbers next year, Georgia Family Services are saying at least 200 more kids for you guys. And that's not counting the other kids that come to us over the Rio Grande, and we speak about trauma, it's real. And so we just continue to add in more students, and we need to be able to staff all the EL positions, our language positions. And I have to put a plug in sometimes for special ed when we don't have an ASD teacher or an EI teacher. Because then many times other teachers lose their planning times, and that can be tough for them. I mean, I remember being grouchy if I lost my plan. You know, so it's multifaceted, but it's across the country. And, you know, I can only pray that one day we will put our public schools at the top of the list, you know, at the top of the pyramid there, because that's where we belong, you know, because the things that we're doing for students are pretty remarkable, especially here. So is that going to be a little?
I understand all of that, and I can appreciate you saying that, but how does this company treat the teachers?
So far, from what we've talked to and the interactions we've had, the company and the teachers, very positive. He gets things, their company, he was a teacher, a principal, a HR director, and so he knows how to treat people. And so there's a big demand of people from various countries. We have heard that we could even get, if we don't have a chemistry teacher, for example, sometimes that can be hard to staff. We could get a chemistry teacher from Africa. It's not just Central South America. Where he's getting teachers. People want to have that international experience, you know, and just see what it's like to be an educator in other countries. So that's the incentive, I think, for the folks, and they know they're going to go back to the families, you know, in 3 years to 5 years. But it's usually they're a little bit younger, but they have so many years of experience. They're not young, and they just are looking to learn new things, especially from us. So if that helps.
Well, I just wasn't impressed with his presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to cover this one?
I get concerned about that too. Not just, I mean, of course, how they treat their employees, but also how do they adjust when they get here?
Exactly.
Right? And so, according to all we interviewed, but not interviewed, but we talked to some of the people in that organization, some of the teachers and with them, and they have a whole program to get them acclimated, like with housing, to get, you know, to get them to know all about the, you know, it's on the area and what housing is available, the affordable housing, and how far they are from schools, and seeing that they can, you know, be together. Because one thing you don't want is to have one person come here all alone. So really, sometimes they do like to have more than one person.
But he did not say that. He said he was not responsible for housing. Their company was not responsible.
He did. Yes, he did.
I guess I heard something different then, because what he said. I didn't hear that.
Yes.
And he was asking,
Yeah, they don't
couple of times, and he said he was not responsible.
Yes.
That's exactly. They're not responsible, but they have a program.
Okay.
So, and you know, the employees or people in the organization seem to be happy and talk about. I think when people say, "Oh, I'm happy here," no, I need to go deep. Tell me why. Tell me what something you don't like. Tell me something that, you know, one reason that you can say this is a great organization because. Don't just say. So yeah, we were impressed with what we heard from them. So I mean, that's, you know, obviously he's not here yet, but this is what the feeling we got. Trying to bet.
paying payroll, you're paying plus 7%.
Okay.
And so you can do a lot if you're paying for something for an employee that isn't payroll based. Like, my guess is that math. I mean, you can speak to that.
Oh, yeah, well,
It's
the
not-
retirement alone, that
Right.
30% plus the benefits alone, then is way more. Like, I mean, it's almost half.
One comparison would be, they're only making $30 an hour, but we're actually $50 an hour. This part I know, because you've got to say that other 20 for all the flight.
That's why I said it's half. It's literally, we're paying half,
Okay.
like half, half. That's why.
So, yeah, so it sounds like it's more than comparable, so we're not spending more to
Mm-mm.
fill it.
It's almost half.
And I don't see huge numbers of people, seriously, I just see people where we're desperate about good experience, with quality, you know, and they also make sure that they're proficient in English to a certain level too. It's like our COI literacy kids, right?
Yes.
They're not just speaking Arabic, but they're also speaking,
Right.
so that's
It's huge.
a critical part.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm listening to all of this, this program is really to help with the diversified student population that we have, and not to really impede on the teachers that we
Sure.
typically hire or retain. Okay,
Absolutely not.
they probably.
The shortage, right?
Yeah, the shortage. They probably, it would be good in future situations like this to have the teachers present. Because it just simplified it, I think, for me.
I hope you present more of that shortage, you know? As she-
Oh, she got it. Yeah.
Frowned on it, or they tried about half, so I haven't frowned on it, only because like they say, we consider the whole, we are.
Yeah, say that to them. Mm-hmm.
It's a
I'm
great
clean.
story.
Yes.
And so it's been like that for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And teachers are giving up their planning time, like Mary Ann said, they're giving up their planning time. When you look at it across the board, it's just a week's time, you may get one planning time off the week.
Wow.
Right.
They tired.
So
That's
They tired.
Right.
They tired.
That's significant.
They tired.
Yeah, you can,
You know, when you're home with your family.
right.
On the weekend, when you're supposed to be
Mhm.
relaxing and enjoying your family,
tired.
you're flying.
Right.
You have to pay for that.
Yeah, they tired.
And we have to, and you right, and we have to, you're paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Paying for it anyway. Mm-hmm.
So we have homes, we got to fill those homes. And we
Absolutely.
got to be creative with filling the homes, right?
Yes.
This is just one way to be creative to fill the homes.
Mhm.
It's multifaceted. It's to see how our own, kind of like what you said, okay, the finances part, but to see how they said, but you know, you can go some business, they be like, you know, why they come and we can do this? But if they're like really okay, you're well, that we're putting gas, you know, from, that's gonna be, I can't see for myself. I think it's gonna be a useful thing and helpful thing for us as a district, especially if we got top people on our side who's welcoming, and that's what's important, to see what their feedback is. Like, now, if they say, no, we don't wanna do that, we gotta get some feedback, we don't, they didn't listen to them, but I think.
Thank you, Shirley. They didn't believe me, but thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, what we're, right, and I think what we're dealing with is,
That's what they told me, but.
and what we're dealing with is just the realities of where we are. And so what I appreciate is just the innovation, creativity, forward thinking, outside of the box thinking about how can we fill these gaps? Because it's not like the gaps are shrinking, they're just getting bigger. And so I appreciate Ms. Green, Miss Yeager, Ms. Tillerson, for you all this is not our typical protocol, but it was very helpful, right? For us to kind of have this, no, don't apologize. We appreciate that you all stepped in and helped to kind of helped us to see it from your perspective, because that's what we need, right? Like, you're on the ground right there every day and you are feeling it. And so we appreciate that. So thank you for for disrupting. We like, we like disruptions. We invite disruptions. Yes, we are.
And
Hashtag.
they did
we are
bring it
disrupt-
to us 2 years, and we said, well, the board, we don't know. But see, there's been a lot of them.
Thank you so much.
I guess,
Okay,
if I
where are
could
we
just
at?
add one more comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know that's not normally how but I appreciate the discussion. because My biggest
Absolutely.
question is, do our staff want this?
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate hearing, from the unions, from the folks who are looking for it. So what it sounds like is that we're looking at a sort of targeted positions that we would fill. So I'm excited about this, excited to support it. I think the biggest thing that I hear about from a working conditions perspective when you talk to our staff and frankly as a parent is just not having enough people. Right. So when our science teacher gets pulled out of our elementary school because there aren't enough subs, then my kids don't get science. So, we really need to find ways to creatively fill those positions. And
Absolutely.
I'm very enthusiastic about this. Just
Yes.
wanted to make sure we're answering all our questions.
Yes, we appreciate it. Okay. To recap, a motion was made by trustee Fields. It was supported by trustee Schindler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to action item number 10 under business and finance, and it's the Michigan alternate route to certification agreement. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, this is trustee Gainsley. I move that the Board of Education approve the Michigan alternate route to certification agreement for the purchase price of $63,600.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Gainsley. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Fields, I support.
Thank you. Supported by trustee Fields. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, a motion was made by trustee Gainsley, supported by trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our 2023-2024 year-end budget amendment resolution. Is there a motion at this time?
Move that the Board of Education approve the attached resolution for the 2023-24 June budget amendment with a projected $8,857,036.57 fund balance ending June 30th, 2024.
Thank you. A motion was made by trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by trustee Schindler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to the second resolution, our 2024-2025 initial budget. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Townsend move that the Board of Education approve the attached 2024-25 general appropriations resolution.
Thank you. A motion was made by trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Fields, I support.
Thank you. Supported by trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our millage rates, L 4029s. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Fields, move that the Board of Education approve the millage rates for the 2025 tax rate request L-4029s as presented for Superior Township, Ypsilanti Township, and the City of Ypsilanti.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Fields. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by trustee Schindler. Any discussion on this item?
I do have just one question. So
Yes.
just so I'm understanding, I keep hearing Priya in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just to maintain the 18 meals, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay, all right, that's all I need.
Okay. Motion was made by trustee Fields, supported by trustee Schindler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to a donation for our YCS event series. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Fields, move that the Board of Education accepts donations from one, Old National Bank for $5,000. Number two, Bank of Ann Arbor for $1,000 for the YCS event series.
Thank you. A motion was made by trustee Fields. Is there support for this motion?
Support, Vice President Lee.
Thank you, supported by Vice President Lee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Old National Bank and Bank of Ann Arbor, for your generous donation. Next, that takes us to action item. We are at number 11, our 2024-2025 renewal of our membership with the Michigan Association of School Boards. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Townsend move that the Board of Education approve the 2024-25 renewal of membership with the Michigan Association of School Boards at a cost of $7,491.70.
Thank you. A motion was made by trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion?
Support Vice President Lee.
Thank you. Supported by Vice President Lee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to the MESB delegate election. Is there a motion at this time? Thank you. We have a motion that has been made by trustee Schindler. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Fields, I support.
Thank you. Supported by trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Wait.
I'm sorry.
I think we have.
We need to talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we already did that at the beginning of the year. We select.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I was gonna, but I thought.
Oh, I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So yeah, so currently right now, I'm not going.
You are not. Okay. I did not know that.
And I guess I'm the only one going, right? I guess yes, I will.
All right. Okay. So Vice President Lee, you will take that
Mhm.
on. Thank you so much. Okay. Sharon Lee. So Vice President Lee has us covered.
So it won't be an alternate, it'll just be me,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
To approve Sharon Lee as the delegate. To approve Sharon Lee as the. Sharon Lee as the.
Okay, so you're not going and trustee Townsend is also not going. Is that correct?
Yeah.
We leaving?
But you're gonna go there later.
Wait a minute, hold up.
You're just gonna leave later, I guess. You going back to back.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, so that's Sunday. No, because it's the first day.
Yeah, it's they back, I mean, literally. They overlap. Yeah.
So what day is she leaving?
Sunday, you'll come back and you'll leave.
Right,
Okay.
but when is the delegate meeting? It's not on Sunday.
No, it's usually the first night.
It's the first night. Right, well, we're talking about MESB is later that week, right? I mean, the week before. So I think it's that Thursday?
Thursday,
Yeah.
October 24th.
Thursday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's MASB.
right.
It's on Monday to Wednesday, it's Cube. But since Cube is in Las Vegas, you're gonna wanna fly on Sunday.
Mhm.
Get there in time. in the morning.
Right,
Okay,
so I'll be flying out late that Sunday. Right,
Mhm.
okay.
I got you. Yeah,
You good?
I'm good.
All right, excellent. All right, so the motion needs to just be, if we could reread, trustee Schindler, if you don't mind rereading that motion to change it so that we have Vice President Lee represented, as the one who will be
Approve Sharon Lee.
the new delegate. Thank you.
Madam President, I move the Board of Education approve Sharon Lee as the MASC.
Thank you. A motion was made by trustee Schindler, supported by
Trustee Townsend.
trustee,
Support.
okay. Okay.
Support trustee Townsend.
I got you, trustee Townsend. All right. Motion made by trustee Schindler, supported by trustee Townsend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Thank you again, Vice President Lee.
Thank you.
Next, that takes us to number 12, public comments. I don't believe anybody slid in or slid out. So we're gonna go to our discussions, any Board of Education subcommittee reports at this time.
We had a community meeting, you can go. Well, I don't forgot the day, but it was last week. We had it, wasn't it last week?
I don't remember
Yeah.
yesterday.
Anyway, we had a community meeting. And they
Okay,
gave us some follow-up from Lambert about what they're still doing in the upcoming, and still talked about the radio stations, talked about advertising.
signs are here. Yard signs are here.
Okay, yep, oh, yeah, we can get those, yeah, we got some yard signs, representing that. I haven't heard it yet, but we've got the radio, we're still talking about the radio announcements. They were working on Facebook, I'm not sure if they were able to get in yet, but they said they have been working on trying to get into our Facebook page so they can start controlling that. We haven't heard the feedback for that, but they're pretty adamant they're gonna be able to do that. And we have Instagram, I think. Yeah, so our social media is all up, with just a question mark on the Facebook, but they're doing their thing, trying to get us out there reporting for the 10-year and the advertisement for teachers and students.
Excellent. Thank you, trustee Fields. Any other subcommittee reports?
I have, it's not exactly subcommittee, but I just wanted to report back from the LRN. So the WASB legislative breakfast was on May 20th. Superintendent Zachary Ross and I were able to attend. We had a good turnout from electeds. Debbie Dingle spoke to us about some of the federal updates and the challenges with appropriations, which I know also then in turn impacts us in our federal funding. Jason Morgan spoke as the vice chair of the K-12 Appropriations Committee, and there was a lot of conversation around what appropriations to the school aid fund are going to be and the differences between the governor's House and Senate's proposals. Also, there was some discussion around the contribution to MIPSers and how to reduce the burden on districts and ensure that our hardworking teachers are getting their retirement, those that are in that system. We also talked a lot about the around literacy efforts and that bimodal distribution and the kinds of economies of scale that exist for so many of the districts in our county. And 3 MASB 2023 award winners were recognized from YCS. So President Hawkins, Vice President Lee, and Trustee Townsend, congratulations on your MASB award.
Thank you, trustee Goodrich. Any other subcommittee report?
I don't have a report because he did my report. I can't remember his name, principal at Perry.
Oh,
I can't remember his name.
right. Dickerson.
Yes. So, okay. But I just wanted to say, I have a lot of teenagers coming up to me asking me about employment for the summer. I reached out to Michigan Works, Summer Works, because I thought maybe they had positions. To my understanding, they started the application process back in February. They told me they reached out to YCS, but no one ever called them back. Yes, and I was very surprised to hear about that. They also told me they've been around to Lincoln and Ann Arbor and everywhere, and they only have one student from Ypsilanti Community Schools. That was heartbreaking to me.
Yeah.
So I have her name, and next year they're gonna start in January with the application process. Okay, she's gonna send me an email, but also I want to know.
Come here.
Yes.
Yeah.
She wanted to come here and do their presentation and get kids from Ypsilanti Community School to do the Summer Works program.
Yeah.
I also want to know who she can reach out to up at the high school so they can start these kids with the Summer Works program. So in January, they can start the application process. Because I know last year I was putting it out there because I had got flyers and everything and I was putting it out there. This year, I didn't get any information about it. So I want to make sure, starting next year in January, YCS students know about Summer Works program. So I will give you the name of the
Sharnessa
contact
Williams.
person,
Okay. Sharnessa Williams.
and she can contact who's supposed to be. She needs to contact at the high school, so we can have YCS students start this program.
Okay.
And they won't be on the streets doing something they're supposed to be doing.
What was her name?
Sharnessa Williams with the Office of Community Economic Development.
Well, I don't know who that is, but the person I have is a different name.
Well,
Different name?
Yeah.
But Sharnessa is over it.
And also with Grizzly Learning Camp, have them sign up for Grizzly Learning Camp, because part of it, they can also do some work programs that are paid. So if they sign up for Grizzly Learning Camp, they can also get paid for some of their programs.
Okay, all right. And the kids is reaching out to me, go to YCS, and I'm surprised counselors didn't tell them about the stuff.
I just want to tell you, there's two different programs. I found that out. So it's two different programs. Sharnisha does one program and there's Michigan Work, so that's probably.
Yeah, Michigan Work is a totally different program.
Okay.
She's
She's
talking about
not
Summer
at
Work.
school.
But she's talking about the program that Sharnessa runs.
Okay, so
Summer Work.
Michigan Works comes to,
I was
okay.
gonna say it's two different
Okay.
programs, so just to make sure we wanna, I just think we need to be informed in terms of
Okay,
both programs.
thanks.
is what I'm
Yes,
saying.
we do, because I'm like,
Right, she's probably, I know who you're talking about then. That's with Michigan Works.
And
Yeah.
so
Okay,
I need,
okay.
you
We'll
need
get
to,
it figured out.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
we still need to know about that one too.
yeah.
Right, we'll get the names and we'll get it figured out.
And Ozone
Because you're
House
right.
House
We-
as a
If there
program
are
as well.
opportunities for employment for our young people.
We need to
wanna
know
make-
about all of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
it's, you know, all they do is get mentors and, you
It's
know,
a great
they kinda
program.
Go to school like, you know, it's not really work, you know, and they get paid for it.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Thank
I
you,
thought you
Vice
wanted
President
to
Lee.
work.
you're welcome.
We've been doing that one all.
Any other subcommittee reports? Board comments?
Yeah, we all got them, I guess. Go. You go first. You go first.
I'll be brief. Apologies if I'm stealing your thunder. I was so pleased to, along with Trustee Fields, to be able to attend the Grizzly Awards on May 15th. And I know she has left, but I just want to congratulate Ms. Blevins again on her Teacher of the Year award. And it was such a privilege to